What's up, everybody? My name is Oliver Marcel, and I am your host today for this episode of The Life of an Entrepreneur. We're going to talk today about 10 things that every entrepreneur should be doing. 10 things that every entrepreneur should be doing. So, I want you to take a moment. I want you to share this with a friend. I want you to share this with an entrepreneur. I want you to share this with someone who is thinking about being an entrepreneur as we get into this episode talking about the 10 things that every entrepreneur should be thinking about. All right. Make sure you share this episode. Let's get into it right now. Yes, yes, yes. We are here. We are here for another episode of The Life of an Entrepreneur. Again, my name is Oliver Marcel. I am your host. This show is brought to you in part by Love Entrepreneurs. Love Entrepreneurs is a fellowship that is designed and built and created to help ordinary people build extraordinary businesses. You can find more information about Love Entrepreneurs by going to the website that you see on your screen right now. Love Entrepreneurs has a signature dish, if you will, called the Big Fix. We'll talk about the Big Fix a little bit later in this episode. Love Entrepreneurs. Make sure that you check them out. So listen, we're here today. Full transparency, I don't have a guest today. Now, the life of an entrepreneur, right? The life of an entrepreneur can be a roller coaster ride at times. And if I listen, what you may not know about me, those of you who know me know that I'm honest and transparent. This show was actually going to be canceled today. There was going to be maybe a replay of another episode that was going to air because as in the life of an entrepreneur, things come up that you don't necessarily expect. So something came up, and lo and behold, that thing that came up fell back down. And so I was able to be here and join you guys. And I'm glad that I was able to be here and join you guys for this episode. Listen, if you're watching this right now, please share this with someone. If you're whatever, I think it's on Facebook, it's on LinkedIn, and it's on YouTube. So, whatever platform you may be watching this on, please share this. Even if you're watching the replay, please share this and go back and watch other episodes of this as well. There have been some great interviews with Ed Crowther and Peter Russell and Aliri Kozlet. Phenomenal information, tips, and tools and advice that have come out of those sessions. So today, you get to hang out with me for a little while, and I'm just going to share a few things that I believe are important things that you should be doing as an entrepreneur. There are a few things that I believe that are paramount, and they may not necessarily be what you're thinking. So I'm just going to give you a spoiler alert. I'm not talking about how to scale and how to market and how to do some of these other things that are immensely important. Now, don't get me wrong, they're very important because we all want to be successful. I'm talking about 10 things that sometimes for some of us, I'm not going to throw everybody under the bus, but for some of us, some of these 10 things we don't always pay as much attention to as it relates to our journey, right? Because often in this journey, you kind of get caught up trying to move the needle. And in trying to move the needle, sometimes we don't pay as much attention to these things that I'm going to share. So listen, I'm going to get right into it. If you're here, shout yourself out in the comments. I would love for you to be a part of this conversation because these 10 things are not absolute. This is not the only 10 things, right? So you may have some phenomenal advice in terms of things that entrepreneurs should be doing on their journey. Please put them in the comments, whether you're watching now or whether you're watching in you're watching the replay. Be sure to give us your input. We want to hear from you. What are some things that you feel like entrepreneurs should be doing on this journey, and to make sure that this life of an entrepreneur levels out? I won't say goes smoothly, because I don't know that I don't know that you ever get to a point where it goes smoothly. Maybe you do. I don't know. I'm still early on my journey. So these things that I'm sharing are things that are very important to me on my journey. All right. So let's get into it. And there are 10 of them. They are in no particular order. They were just listed how I just happened to list them, right? So no particular order. Number 1 is embrace failure as a learning opportunity. Now, often, and maybe I should speak for myself, I sometimes get a little stressed, a little downtrodden, um, a little disappointed when I run across failures. Right? I was having a conversation with a good friend of mine who is also building a business, and he was sharing with me just some of the struggles, some of the things. You try to stand something up, it doesn't work the way you want to, or you stand up a program, nobody bites, nobody signs up for it. Those kinds of things, right? One thing that all entrepreneurs should be doing is embracing failure as a learning opportunity. Now, that's going to take something else that's on the list as well. In order to do this well, there's something further down the list that you're also going to have to really be intentional about in order for this to work. But here's the thing, right? Every successful entrepreneur has experienced setbacks and failures. Every successful entrepreneur. I don't know of any, and I dare say, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I dare say that if an entrepreneur tells you that they have never had any failures and they hit the ground running and they were in the clouds in 3 months, I don't know. I dare say they would be telling you a falsehood. But I don't know. There's always that one overnight success, right? But generally, most of us have some setbacks and failures, right? So it's important to make sure that you're taking the lessons from those L's, if you will, right? We may look at them as losses. We may look at them as things that are setbacks for us, things that are pushing us back, things that are keeping us from getting our goal, things that are deterring our success, if you will. But take the lessons from them. There's always something that maybe you can take from it and tweak for the next one, or some things maybe that you need to take away from it. There's a host of things that if you change your perspective around what failure is, and that it's not a stopping point, but potentially a starting point, you typically will begin to see where you can pull things from those things that weren't as successful and use them as a catalyst for success in the future, right? So first thing, and again, these are not in any order. First thing is that you need to embrace failure as a learning opportunity. Karen Bashford said, I agree. Karen, thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here with me. I agree. Have to embrace failure in order to grow. Yes, we do. And since it's just me by myself, I'm just going to be transparent throughout this whole thing. That's sometimes difficult for me. So it's going to be easy for me to rattle off these 10 things for you, but I'm going to be honest with you. Some of these things take work for me personally, because I've been in those situations. I've been in a situation where I have stood up a program. We have a great group coaching program, shameless plug. We have a great group coaching program for couples who want to build intimacy holistically, who want to communicate on an extraordinary level, who want to recognize, manage, and recover from conflict in record time. And we've had cohorts where we stood up a cohort and nobody bit. So we understand that, and we know what that feels like. And sometimes it's hard to step back and pull the lessons from that. So David Hunt is in the house. Embrace failure as a learning opportunity. That is number one. All right, let's go to the next one. And again, these are not in any particular order. But number two on my list is to remember that persistence is key. Persistence is key. I heard somebody say a long time ago that content is king, consistency is queen, right? So being persistent in what you're doing, whatever it is that you are doing, if you are putting out content, be persistent. Sometimes that content is going to blow up and you're going to get 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, 40,000 views. Sometimes you're going to put that content up and it's going to get 12 views, right? It's just, you have to be persistent. Persistence is key. If you continue to put one foot in front of the other, here's something that I tell folk quite often. If you go outside of your home or your office or wherever you happen to be watching this right now, if you go outside of your home or office and you begin to put one foot in front of the other, if you do that for the next 4 hours, you may not be at your destination, but you will be a good ways from where you started. So make sure that you are being persistent. Be persistent. David Hunt is tracking with me. Persistence is is key. So make sure that you are persistent in your pursuit as an entrepreneur, that you're putting one foot in front of the other on this journey, right? A journey cannot be a journey if you stop. A journey is over once you stop. So if we're talking about the life of an entrepreneur and we're recognizing that the life of an entrepreneur is a journey, we got to make sure that we are being persistent in that journey and that we are continuing to put one foot in front of the other. All right. So that's number two. Number two is persistent. Persistence is key. Number three, build a strong network. You got to know some folk. You got to begin to find some folk and introduce yourself to some folks and be around some individuals that are in your industry, be around some individuals that are in other industries. The beautiful things, and this is not a shameless plug because this is brought to you by Love Entrepreneurs, right? Love Entrepreneurs is a phenomenal business community. Business fellowship is actually the actual term that is used. It is a business fellowship. Love Entrepreneurs is a business fellowship, and that business fellowship is designed to do a few things. One, to help turn ordinary people into building extraordinary businesses. It is a network of like-minded individuals who are trying to live out these 10 things that I'm sharing with you today. So number three is you got to build a network. Love Entrepreneurs gives you the opportunity to do that. Love Entrepreneurs gives you the opportunity to meet people from all over the globe. I am a part of that community, and I have met people in South Africa. I have met people in Ireland. I have met people in the UK, all over the UK. I have met people, obviously, in the United States. I have met people all over the place who are all looking to embrace failure as a learning opportunity, to be persistent in the things that they are doing, and to walk out this life of an entrepreneur in a way that's going to bring them success. So get a network around you. My man David Hunt is tracking with me. Number three, get a network around you. Make sure that you're building a strong network. All right, let's keep it going. We're on a roll here. We talked about embracing failure as a learning opportunity. We talked about the fact that persistence is key in what you're doing. We talked about the fact that having a strong network around you is paramount. All right, let's go on with number four. Number four, continuously seek knowledge and self-improvement. Continuously seek knowledge and self improvement. We should always be striving to learn, always be striving to grow, always be striving to expand our perspective. That's something that I often say. Expansion of perspective is so key to you understanding how you fit in this world. What is your what is your contribution to humanity? How do you serve? How will you serve? Understanding and seeking knowledge and understanding yourself and expanding your perspective and working diligently towards self improvement is key to you showing up in the spaces that you are designed to be in, showing up well and showing up with a service mindset and showing up with things to contribute and to offer and showing up in ways that will be impactful to those that you come in contact with. So you need to be looking to continuously learn, continuously grow, continuously improve. Karen, you are absolutely correct. Karen said that Love Entrepreneurs is a great network. It is. And if you are looking to build a strong network, that is the place where you need to find yourself. There's several places, but this is one that's near and dear to me because I'm a part of it, and it's who helps to sponsor this show. So Love Entrepreneurs is indeed a great network. All right, let's keep this going. I'm on a roll. I'm on a roll here. If you're just joining us, thank you for joining us. This is the life of an entrepreneur, where individuals come on and share their journey, their journey through this entrepreneurship season of life that we're in, or space that we're in, or whatever you want to call it. People come on and share tips. They share their story, so you get to hear their story, where they came from, what the inspiration was, some of the pitfalls that they've encountered, all in an effort to encourage you on your entrepreneurial journey if you are an entrepreneur, or to give you some things to think about to expand your perspective if you are looking to make that move and make that jump. So we're talking about 10 things today that every entrepreneur should do. 10 things that every entrepreneur should do. Karen said, I learned from commenting on posts and receiving feedback from those comments, not just for the post I share. That's phenomenal. And we should be doing that, right? Part of growing your network, part of seeking knowledge and getting and expanding self-improvement is being able to do things like what Karen is saying, being able to get into other people's posts, comment on other people's posts, learn from what other people are doing in the social media spaces that you are in. So that is phenomenal. So we're talking about 10 things that every entrepreneur should do. And full disclosure, it's not really the things that you think. I'm not talking about how to scale. I'm not talking about how to market. All those things are important, but I'm talking about 10 things that we often don't pay as much attention to, or we're not as intentional about doing because we're spending so much time trying to move the needle. But I dare say that if you are intentional about these 10 things, this will also help you to move the needle. So far, here's what we've talked about. We said that it's important to embrace failure as a learning opportunity. Talked about the fact that persistence is key. You got to put one foot in front of the other. Talked about the fact that it is important that you build a strong network, that you have some great folk around you, and you need to be continuously seeking knowledge and self improvement. All right, let's go to number 5. We're halfway through this list, guys. Halfway through this list. Stick with me. Number 5, cultivate a positive mindset. So remember, number 1 was embrace failure as a learning opportunity. And I said that there's something else in this list that you're going to have to be intentional about in order to do number 1 effectively. And I shared with you, full transparency, embracing failure as a learning opportunity is sometimes difficult for me, because when I encounter failures on this journey, they sometimes cause me to sit back a little bit. They sometimes cause me to stop in my tracks just for a moment. But if I'm cultivating a positive mindset, that positive mindset will be the thing that allows me to keep going. That will be the thing that allows me to have the perspective that would let me now see the lessons in those L's that I'm taking on this journey. That will give me the motivation to be persistent because my mindset is positive. So I should be cultivating a positive mindset. Make sure that you are thinking positive. You're on a journey. That journey is going to afford you some success. You need to be thinking that way. You can't be thinking that it's going to fail. You can't be thinking that nobody wants what you have. You can't be thinking that you can't be second guessing yourself, because if you do, you're going to follow the path that is forged by that mindset. So positive mindset is the key. My guy Damon Braxton is in the house today. Damon, thank you for being here. A lot of times I don't move for fear of failure. I have a bit of a perfectionist, but I'm learning to make that fear push me from behind. I love it instead of standing in front of me. That is what I'm talking about. Learning to, and that's perspective. That's what we talked about in the beginning. That is perspective. Your perspective is going to forge a path for you. So if your perspective is one of failure, if your perspective is one of I'm not going to get there. If your perspective is, oh, well, nobody got the course this month, so maybe the course is trash. If that's your perspective is going to forge a path for you that's going to take you down the road to failure. If your perspective is one of I'm going to be persistent, if your perspective is one of I have something to offer because I have been increasing my knowledge and I have been seeking self-improvement and I am being persistent and I'm learning from my mistakes, that is going to forge a very different path for you. My guy is here. Ursel, my guy. That is so good. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Yes, we should all be embracing that. If you're just joining us, we're talking about 10 things that every entrepreneur should be doing. And right now we're on number 5. And number 5 is cultivate a positive mindset. So before we keep going, I just want to pause right here because I did say that this show is brought to you by Love Entrepreneurs, right? And Love Entrepreneurs is a business fellowship that is their number one goal outside of bringing entrepreneurs from all over the world together to fellowship is to help ordinary people build extraordinary businesses. And there's one way that they do this that I love. And for any entrepreneur out there, this is something that you need to take advantage of, and it is called the Big Fix. Now, what is the Big Fix? The Big Fix is essentially this. The Big Fix is your opportunity as an entrepreneur to sit amongst a group of entrepreneurs. Think about a mastermind where you're sitting in the hot seat. And essentially what you get to do is you get to bring to the group some challenges that you may have. You bring to the group your vision for what you feel like success in your business is going to look like. Bring to the group some of the things that the gaps that you see that you're not sure how to fill. And what that group does is jump in and they give advice and they give tips and they give tools and they give solutions and they ask a ton of questions. And you walk away from that experience with a whirlwind of knowledge. And here's the kicker. It's free. It is free for you to do this Big Fix. Now, is there business coaching that you can get on the back end of that? Yes. Are there individuals that are in place that can help you implement some of the things that come out of the Big Fix? Absolutely. But for you to get in this group of people and get all of the ideas that you need that are necessary for you to move the needle in your business, there is no obligation. So listen, if you want to be a part of that, if you want to be a part of that and you're like, man, I want to get a Big Fix, reach out to me. Here's my information on the screen, oliver@denali.org. Just let me know, hey, I want to get a Big Fix. I want to get in the hot seat and have some people give me some ideas around my business. And I promise you that it is a good experience to be in. Yes, sir. Good morning to you as well, man. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Listen, man, this brother right here is listen, I'm not even going to do him justice if I try to describe who he is and what he does. But I'm going to tell you, as it relates to media in all forms, this dude is a beast. So just think anything media. If you want the best of the best, you need to get at this guy right here. So thank you for being here, my brother. Dave Hunt is tracking with me. Number 4 was continuously seek knowledge and self-improvement. Number 5 was to now I forgot what number 5 was myself. That's terrible. Number 5 was cultivate a positive mindset. So if you're just joining us, this is the life of an entrepreneur. Our goal is to share with you every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have great interviews. Please check out the others. We've had Ed Crowther. We've had Aliri Coslet. We've had Peter Russell, all coming on, sharing their story of entrepreneurship, sharing their journey in entrepreneurship. So make sure that you are a part of this experience. Karen said, positive mindset can be challenging. Yes, it can, as we naturally default to a negative mindset. However, if we're willing to look for the good in everything, we can create a more positive mindset. Indeed. Indeed. Bro, I appreciate you, fam. I appreciate you. All right, let's keep it going. We did 5 so far. We got 5 more, and I'm going to go through these really quickly. We're talking about the 10 things that every entrepreneur should be doing. The first one we talked about was embracing failure as a learning opportunity. Then we talked about the fact that persistence is key. Keep putting one foot in front of the other. We talked about building a strong network and how important that is. Number 4 was to continuously seek knowledge and self-improvement. We got to be growing ourselves. It's important. And number 5 was to cultivate a positive mindset. Let's keep it going. Here's number 6. Number 6 is prioritize self-care and work-life harmony. Can I be honest with you guys? This is one where I drop the ball quite often. I drop the ball quite often here. Prioritizing self-care and work-life harmony. I had somebody tell me when I first jumped out of the corporate space into full-time entrepreneurship, they said people are getting into entrepreneurship because they're looking for the freedom in their time. And what this person told me was, you're going to notice that you're going to go from working a 9 to 5 to working 24 hours a day. And I was like, really? And sometimes that is the thing, excuse me, that is the thing that causes us to not do this thing, number 6, which is to prioritize self-care and harmony. Sometimes we just don't do it. We don't do it. We don't do it. Let's get into some of these comments. Let me catch up with some of the comments. I'm grateful for amazing people who participate in my big fix. So Karen did a big fix. So if you want to hear an experience around the big fix, you can connect with Karen. Karen can tell you. You can connect with me. I also did a big fix as well. It was the insight was incredible. As Karen said, I gained such great insights to learn and grow and expand my business. Thank you for that, Karen. Thank you for that testimonial. That's been my big shift, shifting my mindset, shifting my mind, learning to see the opportunity and what's possible versus defaulting to the negative. Man, I'm telling you, that's work that I've done in my life as well, bro. That is work that I've done in my life as well. Good morning to you, Michael Bryce. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Good info. Michael Bryce says good info. I would highly recommend the big fix. I love it. I love it. And I would as well, Karen. I would as well. Cultivate, number 5, is a positive mindset. Number 6 is prioritize self-care and work-life harmony. Michael Bryce agrees. Listen, that is an area where we really have to be intentional. Because if you burn yourself out, let me speak for myself. I'm not going to speak for anybody else. Let me speak for myself. Let me be true and honest with you. What happens, right? With me is what happens is that I continue to go and go and go and go and go and go and go. As I go and go and go and go and go and go and go, without prioritizing self-care and work-life harmony, that drains me mentally. That drains me psychologically. That drains me emotionally. And then what happens is, let's say we run across a disappointment. Something that I do doesn't work. A thing that I put out, nobody bites. And some things happen, right? Because I've been worn down mentally, because I've been worn down psychologically, because I've been worn down physically, I'm actually more prone to have a negative reaction and a negative mindset around that. And I'm more prone to not be able to get the lessons from those disappointments. I'm more prone to put a halt in my persistence. I'm more prone to stop doing the things that I want to do because I haven't done number 6, which is prioritize self-care and work-life harmony. Listen, there is no car that can run forever, whether it's a electric car or a car on gas. At some point, you got to plug in that electric car. At some point, you got to pull into a gas station. So why do we think we can go forever and ever and ever and ever and ever because we're chasing the bag or we're chasing success or we're chasing new clients and think that that's not going to have an effect on us? That is absolutely impossible. That's impossible. So we have to be prioritizing self-care and work-life harmony. And that's not just for entrepreneurs, man. That's for human beings. That's for everybody. Had to pause, and now I'm playing catch up. I appreciate you. You're tracking with me. I love that you're tracking with me. And yes, that does lead to burnout. And burnout is a catalyst for you not being consistent or intentional in these 10 things that I'm talking about. So we have to make sure that we are intentional about this. So good, Ursel says. Gotta recharge it. You gotta recharge it, right? So we're talking about being intentional about self-care, prioritizing it, and making sure that work-life harmony is intact. So like for me as an entrepreneur, I'm also married and I have a family. So I have to make sure that I am balancing that there's harmony there. That there's harmony there. Michael said it's very important. I got to make sure there's harmony there, right? And I'm being transparent, guys. So you guys who know me know that I'm gonna be transparent. This desk that I'm sitting at right now, I often spend a significant time here doing things in meetings, on Zoom calls, creating content, doing different things, right? And sometimes I'm here longer than I should be. Let's just call it what it is. I'm here longer than I should be. So, what I have to do now in terms of prioritizing self care and work life harmony is that I have to make sure that there are intentional times that I'm spending time with my wife, intentional times that we're doing family stuff, intentional time that I'm with my grandson, intentional time that I'm not here at this desk. Because if I stay here and I burn out, and God forbid something happens on this entrepreneurial journey that is disappointing, now I don't have the capacity, the strength, the mental stamina to undergird that with a positive mindset because I'm worn down myself. So we got to make sure that we are doing that. All right. Let's get into this. We're at number 7 round. We're almost done. We're almost done. Real quick recap. Embrace failure as a learning opportunity. Number 1. Number 2, persistence is key. Number 3, build a strong network. Number 4, continuously seek knowledge and self-improvement. Number 5, cultivate a positive mindset. And number 6, prioritize self-care and work-life harmony. Number 7 is embrace innovation and adaptability. Sometimes you're going to have to switch some things up. So part of number one is embracing failure as a learning opportunity. Some of the learning that may come out of the failure or the disappointment is the fact that we need to do something different. Maybe there's a piece of innovation we need to embrace that will help us. Maybe there's some things that we need to adapt in a way. We need to adapt in a way that's going to actually help us push the needle forward, right? When I first started, there was something that I put in place and it did not work. I mean, it didn't even remotely work. And as a result, I had to look around and be like, okay, what do I need? Is there a different tool that I should be using? Should I maybe be tweaking this and adapting in a different way? So don't, yes, you can stick to your guns, and that might be the way to go for you. However, what I'm saying is be cognizant of the fact that there may be other avenues, and don't be afraid to adapt or to embrace innovation in those ways, right? It doesn't mean that you're a failure. It doesn't mean anything negative. It simply means that you're looking around to do what is necessary for you to move the needle. There's something that I tell guys often. Shameless plug. I'm the author of the book Overcoming the Man Laws for the man who wants to be his best despite what he was taught. So in my travels and in my talks with men, there's something that I tell them all the time. I tell them that adjustments are not a threat to your authenticity. Adjustments are not a threat to your authenticity. So if you have to adapt, if you have to learn, if you have to shift, that's okay. And the example that I give is a basketball example. Those who are around me long enough know that I give a lot of basketball examples. And the example is, if I am a point guard and the coach tells me that I should change my defensive stance against left-handed people because I keep getting beat. So he's like, listen, change your stance against these left-handed opponents. What he did not do was tell me that I'm no longer a point guard. What he did was essentially give me an adjustment that I could make that actually would be beneficial to my success. So you need to be able to adapt. You need to be able to adjust. You need to be able to grab and embrace innovation because it is important. Karen said, if we don't take care of ourselves, our bodies will start to slow down and become ill, which affects our ability to serve others. That is, you're 100% spot on, which is why self-care is necessary. Some people need to embrace AI. There you go. That's the innovation that we can embrace, right? Are there some negative kind of aspects? Maybe there are some negative aspects. I don't know, but we're cultivating a positive mindset, right? So if we're cultivating a positive mindset, let's look and see how that can be a benefit to us as well. My guy said, if you don't have a copy, you need to get one. That is Overcoming the Man Laws for the man who wants to be his best despite what he was taught. Now, what I didn't say to everybody in the beginning, those of you who know me know this already. I am an author, speaker, and coach in the relationship building and men's empowerment spaces, giving you the tips and tools to build the relationship of your dreams, both personally and professionally. So if that is something that you know you can benefit from, whether it be a married couple or whether it be a small corporate team, I am your guy. There you go. All right. Adjustments are not a threat to your authenticity. And that comes straight out of that book. And that's something that I tell individuals quite often. All right. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. We just did number 7. Thank you, sir. I got some folk on here that are champions for the book. My guy Ursel and Michael Bryce. Thank you. I appreciate that. Excellent book. It is available on Amazon, or it is available on my website, which is denali.org. All right, let's finish this up. We just did number 7, which was embrace innovation and adaptability. Michael Bryce said, always adapting. You have to. You have to. If we stay stagnant, we stop moving. And if we're trying to move, because this is the life of an entrepreneur and it's a journey, the journey stops if you stop. If you stop adapting, there's a good chance you're going to stop, which means your journey stops. And we don't want that to happen. All right. We want you to get to your destination and beyond. Buzz Lightyear, to infinity and beyond. All right. Let's go ahead and grab number 8. Number 8 is to build a strong team and delegate effectively. Now, some entrepreneurs may not be at this point in their journey yet. Some may be at this point. You're going to get to a point where there are some things that are you're doing too much. Okay, you're doing too much, right? And so there's going to be a point where you're going to need to have a team around you, and you're going to have to be able to delegate. Do not buck against that. There's some people who don't want to do that because, man, I've been doing it all myself. Are they really going to do it the way that I do it? Oh, I don't know. And they just hem and haw. Listen, if you want to be able to accomplish all the rest of these things, as this journey progresses, it's only going to grow. As it grows, you're going to have to be willing to get some folk around you who can hold up the vision, who can execute and run with the vision, and who you are able to delegate things to in a very effective and efficient manner. All right. If you're not at that point in your journey, that's fine. That's okay. Just know that at some point you will get to that point in your journey and you will need to do those things. So make sure that you are building a strong team around you. And here's the thing. Earlier on, we talked about building a strong network. As you build a strong network and you get to the place where you're growing, that network can help you as it relates to making sure you have a strong team around you and making sure that you have some folk around you that you can delegate to in a way that is effective. All right. So we're almost done, man. We're at number 9 on this list. We're at number 9 on this list. And number 9 on the list is don't be afraid to ask for help. I got to take a sip of water on that one. Listen, I suffer from that. Can I just be honest? I suffer from that. And I suffer from that for a couple reasons. One, I suffer from that because I've been in situations where I've asked for help and they did not want to give help. So that kind of made me gun shy. I'll be honest. Listen, I'm an honest guy. I'm living the life of an entrepreneur and I'm on a journey. And it is an interesting journey. And sometimes you run across some things that kind of give you pause. And I've run across some things that have given me pause, and it's made me sometimes gun shy around asking for help. But there are some things that every entrepreneur should be doing. And one of them is you got to get over your fear and you got to ask for help. Now, being in a strong network will help you with that. The thing that I love about the Love Entrepreneurs Network is that the Love Entrepreneurs Network actually creates an environment where you don't have to be afraid for help because everybody's just offering it. Everybody's just throwing it at you, right? So you don't have to be afraid because it's an environment that you know walking in, this is what we're here for. We're here to help you. The Big Fix is all about helping you. When I sat in that hot seat for the Big Fix, I did it 2 days in a row. I sat in the hot seat for 2 days in a row. And for 2 days in a row, people were just throwing help at me. Hey, do this, do that, try this. Have you thought about this? You should talk to this person. You should get this. And it was just boom, 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 boom. And it's like drinking from a fire hose. So what's the beautiful thing, what I didn't say about the Big Fix is that at the end of the Big Fix, you get a written report. And that report chronicles everything that was talked about, all of the ideas that were generated, all of the people that you should be contacting and talking to, all of the entities that you should be looking up and connecting with. You get a report with all of that so that you can either take that report and run with it, or you can take that report and then get some business coaching from inside the group as well. So there are a lot of ways that you can ask for help. So number 9, don't be afraid to ask for help. Life is about adapting. You can't stay still as change is continually happening. That's right. And my guy who's tracking with me, my man David Hunt, number 9, don't be afraid to ask for help. Now, that brings us to the last and final one. So before we do number 10, let's recap. Number 1, embrace failure as a learning opportunity. Look at if you have the perspective that allows you to see your L's as lessons, you're going to be in good shape. Number 2 is persistence is the key. So number 1, embrace failure as a learning opportunity. Number 2, persistence is key. Putting one foot in front of the other. You got to keep going. If you don't get anything from this particular episode today, is that let me see if I get this finger right. You got to keep going. Persistence is key. Number 3, build a strong network. You got to have some folk around you. This show is sponsored by Love Entrepreneurs, which is a business fellowship. If you don't have folk around you, get in Love Entrepreneurs. Contact me, and I'll let you know how you can come be a part of the Big Fix. You don't even have to be in the Big Fix right now. You can just come listen and watch and contribute and see what it's all about. Get a strong network around you. Number 4, continuously seek knowledge and self-improvement. We got to keep learning. We got to keep growing. We got to keep expanding our perspective. Number 5, cultivate a positive mindset. A lot of this isn't even going to work unless you do that. We got to be thinking positive. I'm a Bible believing person, and there's a proverb that says life and death are in the power of the tongue. So and it also talks about speaking things as that are not as though they were. You got to have a positive mindset. If you're growing as an entrepreneur, if you want this journey to be successful, if you want to see some successes, you got to start thinking that way. Number 6, you got to prioritize self-care and work-life harmony. If you're not doing that, if you're torn down, you can't serve anybody. I heard this phrase that says you can't pour from an empty vessel. So if you're empty, how are you going to pour into other people? Can't do it. You got to prioritize self-care and work-life balance and harmony. Embrace innovation and adaptability is number 7. Build a strong team and delegate effectively when you get to that point in your life. That's number 8. Number 9 is don't be afraid to ask for help. And the last one is to celebrate the victories. Sometimes, and I'm speaking for myself again, sometimes we are so inundated with moving the needle. We are so head down, so nose down, just trying to make sure that what we put in place works and making sure that these things happen, and we miss the small victories along the way. The mile markers, as you pass a mile marker, that indicates that you're further along in this journey than you were before. So make sure that you are celebrating the victories along the way. Celebration is so key. Matter of fact, I would dare say set up benchmarks so that when you meet them, you have something to celebrate. Set up yourself for success in that way in order to celebrate. Listen, those are 10 things that I believe every entrepreneur should be doing. Wanted to share that with you today. That is what I have for you today in the way of information. Oh yes, Karen did say this before. Life is about adapting. So listen, that's what I have for you today. I hope that you take this. I hope that it was good information for you, or maybe it was just a reminder for you just to keep going, right? For some of us, like myself, it's a reminder. Hey, these are some things I have to be intentional about, because on this life of an entrepreneur, I'm just going to say it again, it's a journey. The journey stops if you stop. The journey is going to have some phenomenal moments. The journey is going to have some moments that are not so great. But that's all part of the journey. And if we're being intentional about these 10 things that I talked about today, we can ensure that our journey continues. That's what we want, because we want to seek success. I want to see you successful. I hope you want to see, excuse me, I hope you want to see me successful as well. That's right, David Hunt. Celebrate small victories along the way. Asking for help has been my biggest learning. Asking for help is a tough one. It is. And we got to just be intentional about doing that. You got to be intentional about asking for help. If you think about it right now, I'm just going to keep the number small. There are 10 people that you know right now, and I'm speaking to myself. There are 10 people that you know right now that if you were to pick up the phone or shoot them an email and say, hey, listen, I'm struggling in this area, or I just need some advice, or I just want to run something by you, that they would do it. I promise you. I promise you know at least 10 people that would do that. Now, there are probably 10 people who wouldn't do it, but let's not worry about that, because we're cultivating a positive mindset. So we don't want to go into that call thinking, oh, well, they're not going to want to talk to me. They're not going to want to help me. No, we're cultivating a positive mindset. So I challenge everybody who's listening right now to reach out to one of those 10 people. I know everybody knows 10 people. I know everybody knows 10 people that they could say, hey, listen, man, let me throw something by you, see what you think about it. I'm challenging you to reach out to at least one of those and just ask them a question, share something with them. Hey, I just want to check in with you. Hope everything's well, man. Listen, man, let's get together and have a one-to-one sometime. I challenge you, everyone who's watching, to do that. All right. So listen, we're going to get out of here. We're coming down to the end of our hour here at The Life of an Entrepreneur. Make sure that if you are not following this, it comes on YouTube, it comes on Facebook, and it comes on LinkedIn. It comes on LinkedIn. Damon said, I may not have 10 people, but I know I'm watching one now. You got it, bro. Indeed. Anytime. Anytime. And I love that you said that, because there are some people who may not have 10 people. You may only have one, or you may not have any folks. And if you don't have any folks, you need to get in a situation where there are folks who will do that. I found myself in a scenario that I really appreciate. And because this show is sponsored by this entity, that's why you hear that name so much. Love Entrepreneurs is a sponsor for this show. They help ordinary people build extraordinary businesses. I have met phenomenal individuals like Karen, who's in the comments. Karen and I met in that business fellowship. There are several other folks that I've met in the business fellowship in the United States, in the UK, all over the UK, in South Africa, in Spain. There are people from all over the place that I have met that now have expanded that network of folk that I can say, hey, man, let's talk. Let's talk about a one-to-one. So appreciate you, Damon. Yes, I am that one. I'm always here. And so, listen, we're going to get out of here. Thank you so much for being a part of this today. Thank you for taking some time to listen to this information. Again, I hope that it was impactful for you. I hope that it will be a reminder for you to be persistent. Take those lessons. Be adaptable. Grow. Self-improve. Prioritize your self-care. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Make sure you're building a strong network around you. And listen, let's encourage each other. Let's support each other. Let us champion each other as we go through this life of an entrepreneur. We'll see you next week, this same time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And until then, remember that life is a journey. Enjoy the journey. We'll see you next time.